So for me, one way I could reframe the lack of talent I had in high school athletics is God intended me to be a leader for my people, an organizer for my people. And so I was deliberately kept from getting distracted from my life's mission by not having the athletic talent to make it into college or the professionals. But you've grown so lazy, so tired, so hopeless from all your years of depression, you don't feel like trying no more. And you know what you do? You sabotage everything you claim you want to do. You sabotage by not giving it enough effort. The problem with the depressed African is every time you fail, you treat that like an indictment on your value and worth as a person. And I'm here to tell you, you do not have a right to indict your value and worth as a person because you failed. In fact, one of the things depressed Africans have to do is you have to start being realistic about your strengths and your talents. I never had a lot of talent as an athlete. I never had a lot of talent as an athlete. I was made to play sports because I was always one of the taller students. But I was never a gifted athlete. I'm a gifted thinker, a gifted writer, a gifted orator. I am not a gifted athlete. So if I wanted to become a basketball player, I'm going to constantly be met with failure because that's not a strength of mine. If I'm going to be a quarterback, I'm going to constantly be met with failure because that's not a strength of mine. Depressed people have to live realistically in your areas of strength. And that's not only true for depressed people, that's true for people in general. The problem with depressed people is they tend not to understand that what you want to be in life may not necessarily be your gift in life. What are you good at? Play to your strengths because you are more susceptible to guilt, remorse, and shame than other people. Because you are more susceptible to guilt, remorse, and shame than other people, because your self-esteem tends to be lower than other people, and you can fix that too. You have to play to your strengths. Stop playing to your weaknesses. You have to be realistic in this world. And being realistic is something that a lot of depressed people are not used to doing. You must be realistic. You are not less than anybody else, but you don't focus on your strengths. If your strength is being a cook, be a cook. It may not be your strength to be an accountant. If your strength is being a lawyer, be a lawyer. It might not be your strength to be a surgeon. If your strength is starting a business, start a business. It may not be meant for you to be an engineer or a politician or a preacher. Play to your strengths. Depressed people will play to their weakness, and when they don't succeed, they say, see, I'm just a failure. I was born to fail. You were not born to fail. God put nobody here to suffer. God didn't put you here to suffer. You suffer because of your thinking, and you suffer because of your lack of connection to reality. In fact, one of the things that often sets people up towards depression in our community is child abuse and child abandonment. This is why parents must be in their children's lives, and this is why mothers should not keep fathers out of the children's lives. And this is why fathers shouldn't keep mothers out of the children's lives. Many depressed people had childhood family issues, abandonment, verbal abuse, physical abuse, sexual abuse, parental strife, sibling bullying. But I need you to understand you are not any of those things. I need you to understand you are not any of those things. You are not the child abuse. You are not the sexual abuse. You are not your parents' issues. You are not your parents' failed relationship, failed marriage. You're not that. You are not what happened to you. You are what you chose to do with what happened to you. Let me say that again. You are not what happened to you. You are what you chose to do with what happened to you. Greek philosopher Epictetus, some say Epictetus, I'm going to say Epictetus. He said men are not disturbed by things, but the views of those things. It is not your experiences that led to your low self-esteem. It is how you valued, processed, and interpreted those experiences. Part of your therapy is going back into childhood, in early adulthood, all throughout your life, and reassigning empowering meanings to the things that happened to you. I'm going to give you an example. I just told you a minute ago I was never a great athlete, right? I was forced to play sports in high school because I was tall, right? So if I went the low self-esteem route, I say God punished me because he gave me all this height, but he didn't give me no talent, right? That's the negative way I would frame not having athletic talent. But there's a positive way I could frame not having athletic talent. I don't have to worry about being a political impotent in the black community. Most athletes can never speak up about the things that matter in the black community. They make a lot of money, but they're not very effective politically in the black community, right? But that's kind of negative. I'm not going to go with that one because that one's kind of negative. Let me go with a positive. So for me, one way I could reframe the lack of talent I had in high school athletics is God intended me to be a leader for my people, an organizer for my people. And so I was deliberately kept from getting distracted from my life's mission by not having the athletic talent to make it into college or the professionals. Because had I had the talent, I may not be doing what I'm doing now. So through universal design, because my purpose, my reason for coming into this life, the purpose for this manifestation for Ifatunde Oguntade was not to play ball for white people, was not to run up and down a football field or basketball court. I was sent here to organize, to fight, to improve, to resurrect African people. I can't do that being an NFL star. I can't do that being an NBA star. So a positive way I could restructure that if I had that problem and I didn't, okay, is the reason I had no talent is because the universe wanted to make sure I stayed focused on my mission of African racial redemption and reconstruction. You see that? Go back, reassign, renegotiate, reinterpret your experiences. Yes, you can do this with your child abuse. Yes, you can. You can do this with your parents' divorce. Oh, yes, you can. Every experience you had in childhood can be re-examined, renegotiated, relabeled. The key to an empowering mind, the key to an empowering mind is to make sure the labels we put upon our experiences in life are labels that raise our positive energy and not dampen our positive energy. And one of the issues with depressed people is you always assign a negative meaning to the things that happen to you in life. You can always go back and renegotiate what that means to you. You can always do it. Your marriage didn't work out, renegotiate what it means to you. Your daughter had too many children before she got married. You don't like it, renegotiate what that means to you. Maybe it gave you a chance to be a better mother to your grandchildren. Maybe it gave you a chance to be a better grandfather to your grandchildren than a father you were to your daughter. Renegotiate your experiences and assign meanings to them that are powerful. Stop drowning in your misery. Stop playing the victim card. Stop being a martyr. Change the way you think and you will change your world. Change the way you think and you will change your world. Change the way you think and you will change your world. Let's continue. In order for you to get out of your negative thoughts, because at this point they are obsessive, some of you might use marijuana to stop thinking negative thoughts. Some of you might use alcohol to stop thinking negative thoughts. Some of you might use opioids to stop thinking negative thoughts. Some of you might use food or sex to stop thinking negative thoughts. Those are all dysfunctional. You have to face the dragon and slay the dragon. So what you have to come up with are a set of strategies that you will use at any moment to automatically interrupt your negative thinking. You have to automatically interrupt your negative thinking. Interrupt. Maybe when you find yourself thinking something negative, you smack yourself real hard. Do something that punishes you just a little bit, that makes you uncomfortable just a little bit, that makes you more conscious of your thoughts so you can gain more control over your negative thoughts and put it into it. You might say, every time I catch myself thinking a negative thought, I have to eat a piece of garlic. Every time I find myself thinking a negative thought, I got to take a shot of beet juice. Every time I find myself thinking a negative thought, I have to walk home from work that day. Or I got to walk to the store that day. I can't take the car. Do something that holds you accountable for your negative thoughts so you can get in the habit of being more conscious of what you think about. Very important that you do this. Very important that you do this. You think a negative thought, you have to turn off your favorite TV show right at that moment. Right at that moment. I thought a negative thought, I cannot finish watching this TV show. I thought a negative thought, I cannot finish watching this new YouTube video. I thought a negative thought, I can't have no dessert with my dinner tonight. Punish yourself for not controlling your negative thoughts. It works. It absolutely works. Also, if you're depressed, you got to exercise. Depressed people must exercise. If you are a depressed African, you must get out the house, you must exercise. I already told you at the top of this video that one of the problems depressives have is their motivation is killed by depression is a motivation killer. Depression is a motivation killer. So what we need you to do is to get out the house and exercise. Because when you exercise, your body fills with energy. Your body fills with energy and your body releases endorphins that makes you feel good. And these endorphins will help combat the negative effects of the stress that's coming from your depression. You got to exercise every day. I don't care if you walk around the block 5 times. I don't care if you walk around the block 2 times. If you're obese, you might can only walk around the block 1 time. But you got to get active and you got to get moving. This is what you're going to have to do to overcome your depression. It is not an if, it is a must, and you must do it. It is not a if, it is a must, and you must do it. We already talked about victim consciousness denies your role in your problems. Get over the victim consciousness. You will never stop being depressed if you keep on identifying as this divine victim, this martyr that God sent down. You're almost like a metaphorical Jesus Christ. You're almost like a metaphorical Jesus Christ, whereas Jesus was beat and whipped and chained to the cross and nails was put in his body. Every time you have a bad experience, you see yourself as a martyr like Jesus. You think you were sent here to be murdered. You are not Jesus Christ, and you were not sent here to be murdered. You're murdering yourself with your negative thoughts and your negative interpretations of your experiences. The 2 things depressed people have to control: your negative thoughts and your negative interpretations of experiences. You also have a deep-seated fear of your inability to meet your problems head on. You have a deep-seated fear of your inability to meet your problems head on. The only way you're going to learn how to solve your problems is to start solving your problems. You are going to fail 1,000,000 times, but you have to get back up until you learn how to get it right. Another problem with depressives is you never put enough effort in what you're trying to do, so everything you do becomes a self-fulfilling failure because you never properly plan, you never properly prepare, and you never properly execute, so it doesn't work out. You sabotage your own opportunities in life by not giving it your all. The depressive sets up their own sabotaging systems so they never have to put forth their full effort. You don't like to try, and you have a fear of success. You have a fear of failure, but you also have a fear of success. What do I mean? The reason I say you have a fear of success is because if you find out you can solve one problem, you can solve all your problems, and you don't want to do that because you get some secondary gain from feeling sad about yourself. See, by being sorry for yourself, you get off of trying. Being sorry for yourself, you don't have to take responsibility. Feeling sorry for yourself, you don't have to have no accountability. That's right. So you manipulate everything in your life to make sure you fail, because if you ever succeed, you now know that this martyr identity that you created for yourself, this martyr that you've created, that martyr don't exist. You can succeed like everybody else, but you got to put the work in. But you've grown so lazy, so tired, so hopeless from all your years of depression, you don't feel like trying no more. And you know what you do? You sabotage everything you claim you want to do. You sabotage by not giving it enough effort, not giving it enough planning, not giving it enough execution. So you can sit back and say, see, it was never meant for me to go to college. You see, it was never meant for me to start my own business. You see, it was never meant for me to get married, because if I was supposed to get married, he would have married me. Maybe he's not the one for you. Maybe you're dating the wrong men. Maybe you're looking in the wrong places. Maybe she's not the one for you. Maybe you're dating the wrong woman. Maybe you're looking in the wrong places. One of the problems with depressed Africans is you do a poor job conducting a reality-based assessment on your life. You do not see things as they are, which is characteristic of all mental illness. You don't see things as they are, which is characteristic of all mental illness. You're afraid to meet your problems head on because every time you fail, you take that as an indictment on your self-worth and your self-image, but you're even more afraid to succeed, because if you succeed, you have no excuse to keep on groping and moaning around like a sore loser. Another issue with black depressives. I'm going to stop here and come back for part 2, Black Power.
William Pepper, Dr. King family attorney.
Yeah.
He names Jesse Jackson unquestionably as an accomplice to the murder. They say Jesse called off the security. So when Dr. King got to Memphis, there was a bunch of brothers who said, we're going to hold you down on the strength